feels. Well, good afternoon, good evening, good morning for some of us here in our Zoom room here on our Cultivating Voices live poetry. Today, you are joining us for the wild card open mic. And we've got a great group of folks assembled from literally all over the world joining us today to read. We'll be hearing from at least 12 poets, 5 minutes apiece, and we will do our best to get to our wait list to hear as many voices as possible here on Cultivating Voices live poetry. I'm your host for today, Sandy Yannone. I'm so grateful and excited to welcome you all to the Zoom room, and those of you who are watching on Facebook, and of course, the many of you, the hundreds of you that I know watched after the fact, after the live program during the week. It's a fantastic reach that we have with our membership of over 3,500 people. It continues to grow, and it's amazing when we get to meet a person for the first time, and it's always a pleasure when we get to welcome people back to the program and hear their voices. I don't know if Kate Wegwersen is here, but Kate Wegwersen is particularly partial to the person who comes and reads for the first time, and it is always a thrill. So we encourage you to invite your friends that might like to read with us. We have different formats, as you know, and it's incredible to continue to think that we began during the pandemic, the end of March 2020, and continued to build and develop this platform, and have met just so many incredible poets from all around the world, and that has created amazing connections. I know, many of you have published with each other, done readings with each other, and it's hard to imagine that it's hard to imagine that it might not have happened otherwise. But we're so grateful that we've been able to keep our community thriving and continuing, all through our deep love of poetry. Well, let me get out of the way and get us started for our live open mic. And we will, as a reminder to folks, we've got our folks that arrived to sign up to be the featured readers for the first 12 slots that we know we can always accommodate. And folks will be reading up to 5 minutes a piece. Please be respectful of the time so that we're able to get to folks on the waiting list if possible. So without further ado, so glad to have Alexandra Psarapoulou joining us from Greece this evening for you, and we'll have you start us off. Thank you and welcome.
Hello.
And I know you often like to share the screen. Here we go. Let the show begin.
Just wanted to make sure, can you see the graphics going by?
I can indeed. All is well.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Finally got this right.
You're doing well.
Flying 11 from the Flying series.
Hmm.
When all I have is Earth sun warming my horizons, sweet Psyche, tender wings, fluttering anxiously, for it is the flight that matters, dragging my aging dreams, persevering in all kinds of weather, reaching heights of Icarus, heights of the supreme, each creation immortalizing mortality, keeping it alive, creations blowing everywhere, through my eyelashes, through the skies. Flames and eyelashes becoming one, scorching our weaknesses, guiding lost souls. When all I have is a dandelion pappus to blow, seeds floating through the vortex to the cerulean ethers. For it is the flight that matters. Chasing my windy wishes, releasing the nails of mental prisons. Drifting breaths of nature, breaths of freedom. Each ideal golden energy sent into pure light. Ideals blowing everywhere through my heart, through the skies. Zephyr and heart becoming one. Subduing the ego to service the higher good. When all I have is efflorescence blooming in my garden. A farmer of senses cultivating the fruit of the gods. For it is the flight that matters. Picking my deciduous emotions, turquoise showers reviving withered hopes, chanting priestesses of protection, priestesses of safekeeping, each inspiration soothing upheaval, melodious salvation, inspirations blowing everywhere, through my mind, through the skies, incantations and mind becoming one, blessed with the power of flowing divine energy. When all I have is paper and pencil for some simple words, creating poetry between invisible gods and visible mortals. For it is the flight that matters, rekindling my courageous verse, grateful in defeat and victory, dressing ideas in armor, ideas in silk. Each vision a sacred icon in my pilgrimage, visions blowing everywhere through my spirit, through the skies, matter and spirit becoming one, empowering our lives with universal fire. And all we have is the ray of a new dawn in a dewdrop, light triumphing, heralding a new beginning. For it is only the flight that matters. Thank you.
Everyone, that's Alexandra Psarapoulou, for it is the flight that matters, from the Flying Series 11. What a beautiful way to start off the reading. It's uplifting. So many lines. Please, transcendent, as Ken Burch says. Thank you so much, Alexandra, for starting us off and joining us today. Blessings to you. We move next, again, folks, trying to move us along as quickly as I can. And with a quick reminder, of course, please use the chat to respectfully and exuberantly send your enthusiasms to our dear, dear readers. Well, next joining us, I am so glad that this brilliant individual has found our reading series. So it's with great pleasure that I welcome and send a hearty hello to Zomkhonto.
Hello, everyone. I hope that you've had a very wonderful weekend. I'm Zomkhonto. I'm from Zimbabwe. The poem I'm going to give you is called "If It Were Up to Me, My Love Letter to Africa." If it were up to me, Africa would have declared itself in a whisper. But our humanity is like loudspeakers, so colorful and loud that the outside world yearned to take more than just pictures. Erected systems that stripped us of ourselves while claiming to hide our nakedness, made us victims of a sickness that severed our connectedness. And as they undressed us, octopus hands patted us down, as if we'd stolen our birthright, and that somewhere in the deep pockets of our melanin, they would find graves so dark, so black like our skin, to bury us in. If it were up to me, each campus point would confess to the biographies lost at gunpoint, give up the totems of each broken slave, surrender each wave that leapt out of the sea to wipe off surnames torn from the bark of trees, where countless were hung from the tips of their native tongues. Each campus point would confess to the coordinates of those maps that dug furrows etched permanently on our conscience, but silenced by our songs and dances. Naked drums scattered all across the atlas, echoing different flavors of blackness, dancing to the beat of our humanity, so colorful and loud. Way before tongue-in-cheek speeches from these leeches that justified empire's riches, way before tires screeching, midnight lynchings, and wise teachers missing from the classrooms of each generation, only if it was up to me. But pray it's not up to me. I ask tormenting questions. I might ask who weaponized my identity? How many college degrees does it take to be free? If it was up to me, I would have asked a long time ago, who holds the master key? But honestly, deep down, all I want to ask is simply, what hand guides the Blue Nile from Ethiopia, Sudan, then Egypt? Is there some database above and below that holds the footprint and glow of the entire Bantu people, whose noses are bridges to the breath of ancient times? I want to ask, do the Khoisan hide medicines that have never been found ever since healers changed surnames and their scepters changed hands? Simple questions. As curious as the eyes of those that have dreamed of the motherland and never been, or the African with muscle who idolizes Scarface in a hustle, he never wins. If you've ever watched an African child play, you would know that all the artificial intelligence could not compute even a minute fraction of the innocence. We all wish upon a star in a reality that tempers with our galaxy until our universe is the black market of what it used to be. But I still know of some who, like me, would invest all their savings for this craving to be free. How free? Free like the voices of the griot in Mali that shoulder the secrets of the ancients, the way the hills that surround Kigali in Rwanda carry tea plantations of infinite wonder. Free like the arrows from the Hadza people in Tanzania who stare elephants in the eyes and wipe away their memory. Free like birds made of soapstone from the Zimbabwe ruins which fly into the lucid dreams of young men like love letters from the dead. Free to dream the dreams of Miriam Makeba, Patrice Lumumba, Nina Simone, Thomas Sankara, Pila Ndwandwe, Marcus Garvey, Wangari Maathai, Ya Asantewa, Quincy Na, Ken Saro-Wiwa, Joshua Mkabu-Nkomo, Winnie Mandela, and all the dreamers combined, and as clear of mind as Dr. Samuel Achilefu, the Nigerian scientist that developed the glasses that see cancer cells, the deep wells of our aspirations from the breasts and our chests, screaming, it's up to us, it's up to us, it's up to us. Thank you.
Absolutely amazing. Joining us from Zimbabwe, the unequivocal, unmistakable, undeniable Zomkhonto. Thank you for being with us today. What energy and power to your voice, sharing it with ours here on Cultivating Voices, live poetry. Indeed, I am now happy to welcome, I believe joining us today from Pittsburgh, with new book just on the horizon.
Thank you, Sandy.
Giulio Magrini, hello.
Hi, Sandy. My thanks to you, to Kim, to Dawn for making this all possible. And a welcome to my partners in poetry, wherever they may be today. Thinking about labor, when I retired, I wrote this poem. I was thinking about Sting. He wrote a song called "Why Should I Cry for You?" And in that song is this one lyric, "For all my days remaining." And so this poem is called "For All My Days Remaining." You, now me, offered the blessings of the dust and brick. My small hands held in yours, now holds another to guide uncertain steps, passing the wand of strength to sticky hands that reach from below. My compass is engaged, the North Star is fixed, and so am I. I am the radiant light of the universe, the unconsumed burning, not in testament, but in blood. The face of a father eliminates fear, or at least until fear is fed by time. And now I am aged, and they say I am an empty warrior. The conflicts of today do not attend to me. It is whispered, I am weak and weathered, not a worthy opponent for the fear of life or the life of fear. The moments stand ready to punish me. Let us share the enlightenment. I travail the gloaming, leap through barricades. I emerge and break victorious through the eras of our age. I do not hear the trembling voice of weary plummet from my wits through my promenade of words marching forward. I am told these pounding waves of days debilitate and weaken the spirit through natural regressions and decay. Who are these people? And who do they pray to? I am here tonight to say I am veracity, the exemplification of protest. My conflict and victories whet my appetite for more. My aging cause battles with nobility and develops an unshakable strength, and I will not be stopped. I supernova through time. There is no defeat in me. My heart radiates love with every beat, and for all my days remaining, I will rapture in these heavens. I will define the life I lead for all my days remaining.
Wow, look at all the exuberance. Look at, wow, what an anthem.
I just love you.
Giulio Magrini, thank you. Thank you for that cosmic offering. You know, Kim, if I didn't know any better, just from our first three today, I would have thought that we were doing a Poets Focus on anthems, right? Well, we move along, everyone. I'm trying to keep us going as quickly as I can. So excited and so overjoyed to be able to welcome Sylvia Clare to share with us next. Welcome, Sylvia.
Okay. Hello. Thank you for welcoming me. I'm embarrassed to go after that lot, to be honest. It's like, how can you follow those three? But anyway, in February, I spent a wonderful evening in my kitchen shelling field beans for the freezer for the winter, next winter, whilst I was listening to Cultivating Voices. And I wrote a poem about that evening. It's called Shelling Beans and Listening to Poetry. A quiet Sunday evening for me, alone in my kitchen, a family recently visiting, now safely stashed on boats home. I breathe. There is peace, love and laughter from son, grandson, stepdaughter echoing around the walls, murmurs of family bonds and affections. On my lap tune top, I tune into poets, cultivating voices, listening to the duets of word and writer painting pictures, speaking their wonderful words. While harvesting words, I explore the harvest from my garden store, piles of beans picked fresh and green, shelling them for future meals. Dreaming of soups, stews and meals in winter, eating fresh in salad, I know this moment is steeped in love and tenderness. So it's a very simple little poem. Just an observation of the evening. And I think I've got time for one more short one, yes? Okay, this is a slightly more controversial one, perhaps. It's called These Humans. Again, it's a short one. These humans, programmed for social programmed for social approval, where is independence of mind to question all claims, all pronouncements of independent thought? Trained as pack animals, herd survival, seeking to be the solitary gazelle in a herd of wildebeest. Change from within where your true beauty lies. Human unkind, the new breed, futures of futility deep as a muddy puddle. Look beyond, challenge this life, live wild, drop the dressage and gallop free.
Oh, Sylvia Clare, everyone. You know, I want to say that for me, there is no poem that is small. You know, every poem resonates, you know, with its, yes, thank you, Kim. Every poem resonates. And so also you mentioned the duets of poets, and your poems exemplify, to have written a poem in response to, as you're listening to the reading. I mean, there is really, there's almost no better way to honor the reading series. I mean, I love that. I love that the poems beget more poems.
Well, it was just such a magical evening. I just wanted to express it and keep it as a record, you know. It's just one of those evenings where you just, so simple, so simple and so heart-filling, you know. So thank you so much, Sandy.
And thank you for, you know, being the example of the wonder that can come from this series. Well, we move next, my friends, to our dear Phynne-Belle. I am eager to hear your offering today.
So much, Sandy, and thank you to Kim and to Don. So I have two, hopefully not so long pieces. The first one was off of a tarot workshop. It's called Sword, Pentacle, Wand, Cup. Mother of enlightenment, I call upon you, breathe wind into notion, make me lungs of burgeoning concept. Mother of cunning, I call upon you, nestle me safe. I simmer inside your womb. I am formed from the new root. Mother of ecstasy, I call upon you, rouse up tongues of flame, resuscitate me, I am reborn. Mother of nourishment, I call upon you, summon all-seeing eyes, watch over us, cleanse and feed, banish our hungry realm. And I wanted to end with this one. Oops, if I can move back. This is called Where Truth Coats the Diaphragm, the Lips, the Ear. Apology on my lips is the first air pushed out. Please understand, it is weary, not empty, not aggrieved. I will bother you to take time and hear. Listen to these words open up my lips. Even against my will, they disperse. 1,000 spores airborne, touching and tickling noses inhaled deeply. I want you to know them. Commit them to memory as they are right now, before they become someone else's to digest, regurgitate, a chemical reaction in the transformation of their worth, their meaning, the moment they force their way up the windpipe, gagging the throat to hasten release on their way rising. I have learned the truth becomes only what is revealed first. Bold face captions, never what is unspoken, never what is waiting politely for its turn to speak out. I have learned the truth screams the loudest. It is never the quiet that is a burden kept in close circles. Passed around, whipped up to dizzying speed, crashing back down, the weight, a yoke of opinion, forged in judgment, made culpable. So at the end, everyone's shoulders give up the fight, gradually sag. I have learned the truth is delectable, court's scandal lingers and hugs the mouth ready to fizz and spit. No wonder at all that no one wants to listen to the unpopular version. No one wants the residual grit, the boredom, the damning facts that gather and perish at the bottom. I have learned in all this while, waiting, that the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth has escaped. Someone, anyone, please catch it. Everyone playing at volunteering, but no one caring to rise up, see what lines the edge of the cold metallic bone, move the laundered fluff aside to crane their neck and peer above the comfort of their perceptions. Assumption is the best weighted blanket. I heard a rumor there is a daunting photo floating around, words disparate litter the cutting room floor, a call that could have happened but didn't. Did I miss anything in the frantic retelling? Why do you look at me askance? Why? Was there more? I heard a rumor they believed everything they first imagined. They swore in their minds you promised something, said you led them behind, knowing I am barely able to balance on this same cliff. See, I too plunged to follow. See, I joined the adoring queue. And I think that's my time, so I'll just stop there. Thank you so much.
Phynne-Belle, everyone, the conviction of Phynne-Belle today. Conviction of your voice. Just astounding. That litany of the mother from the sword cup swans of the tarot deck. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Phynne, for being with us today, for sharing your powerful words. Truly appreciate it. Well, we move next to the Artful Dodger himself, Harvey Soss. Welcome, Harvey.
Thank you. Always a pleasure. And I've posted an invitation to Artful Dodger's poetry in the chat. So feel free to send us information so that we can contact you, put you on our notifications list, or check for us on Eventbrite. I don't know if I've read this here, so I'll give it a shot anyway. It's called Other People's Vacations. I collect from Pinterest photos of other people's vacations, which I pin to the corkboard of my brain, substituting my face for theirs, a trick learned from Coney Island concessionaires who, with a step right up and say ricotta, please, invited us to poke our heads through cardboard figures on the boardwalk, to cosplay before a tripodal camera as Gandhi, Napoleon, or Genghis Khan. Aphrodite, that leggy proto-suffragette Wonder Woman, or haughty Marie Antoinette with her head still on. Our choice of celebrities out of history or legend paraded past us by these sideshow grifters, and waving our dollars, we jumped at the chance. If only our English teachers and guidance counselors could see us now, transported in time to a future perfect, greater even than that which our hometown Cassandras. Every class has one, a wallflower with a big mouth. Foretold for us in the margins of our high school yearbooks, Barker's emboldening each of us in turn to be a star, at least until the next in line elbows us out of our avatar. This might have been predicted had Priam's daughter accompanied us to the beach, shape-shifting without recourse to Weight Watchers before we're forced back into our daily selves. A half dozen or so cutouts for each gender to choose from, for little more than the price of a footlong. Oh, ye gods and goddesses, what character to choose? Enticing us with the persistency of the flu to cough up the last of our Nathan's money. For the privilege of representing for one precious Icarian moment on a gold-drizzled day, the overachieving high flyer our parents hoped we'd be. Goodbye, fries with double hot dogs, kraut, and mustard. Even now I can say it was money well spent. World's Strongest Man was the representational cutout of choice for our pair of 98-pound weaklings, father and son, and mother wishfully, your daddy is the world's strongest man, saying it runs in the family. A bold lie I would repeat with uncustomary bravado at show and tell, passing around a dog-eared glossy of my old man genetically enhanced by cardboard, posing on the boardwalk between the Cyclone and Wonder Wheel as his alter ego. After which, for a recess or two, schoolyard bullies would leave me alone, fearing Charles Atlas might indeed be my father, and that despite my 98 pounds soaking wet, I could be way stronger than I looked. For the ladies, maybe the cutout figure was of a mermaid, and my mother a bit skittish, having been encouraged to plump her head through, wore it well with a Mona Lisa smile that would have stumped even a smartphone, lacking only fishnets to complete her transformation. How Hans Christian Andersen would have worshipped her as my father did, and who could blame them? Creating a perfect storm of a teachable moment. Mama sleeps in our swimming pool. She goes there after she has put you to bed with stories and kisses, and this is why, as we have both told you, you mustn't jump into the deep end. Certainly not till you're older, so as not to disturb her or disarrange her bedding. Never, never jump into the deep end. Which may be why, duly cautioned, I could never do much more than wade in the ocean, mistrustful of the deep. I do, however, enjoy plasticky albums and slideshows of others' deep-sea crossings, places I could never go myself, places to which they have been trip-advised. Not quite agoraphobic, I can visit their dens or living rooms and endure their shameless boastings of, there I am with a lion. There I am, pal, aboard an elephant. You're climbing Kilimanjaro. Sightseeing at Shwedagon Pagoda in Yangon. Myanmar, Shan Palace in Zippor, rubbing the belly of the golden Mahamuni Buddha in Mandalay. I keep to myself that father once was the world's strongest man, not looking to embarrass those whose fathers weren't, having come round to my mother's way of thinking, and that mother in turn was a mermaid, and that minnow by comparison myrmidon to another's Achilles. I still cannot submerge myself in anything larger than a bathtub, one with clawed feet poised to lend their support. It seems all my friends are globe trekkers of Homeric proportion, or at least have committed to memory and photo paper episodic globe trekking. Intrepid travelers, deep sea divers, Iliad and Odyssey memorizers, mountaineers with selfies of self-acclamation. Through them I can see myself in Kathmandu, uncontroverted hero of my own travelogue. Another's pith helmet becomes my pith helmet, and there I am logging adventures, clicking lions from a jeep, fearless as King David. And yes, that's me hauling my frozen ass up Kilimanjaro, determined to make it or die trying. More hands-on than Hemingway, younger by decades. No one, whether common boardwalk tough or Jim Dandy featherweight, would dare kick sand in the face of my father's son, who for a few dollars more could have been Genghis Khan, or perhaps Napoleon, reportedly way stronger than he looks, heir to the genetic disposition, and I have the photographs to prove it, of the world's strongest man. Thank you.
The epic, the always epic.
Well, I apologize for running over. I thought it was going to be a 5-minute poem.
No, you're good. You're not too far over. Don't worry, my friend. Don't worry, my friend. Thank you. And I appreciate your attentiveness and care. Beautiful. And you have not read that poem before. So I'm
But I
very-
have no clue what I've read and where I've read. I try not to repeat myself, but I don't know.
I like repetition, actually, to be honest.
Well, in
but-
that case, I'll do it backwards. So,
Thank you for taking us everywhere around the world and all those snapshots.
yeah.
And of course, for me, I love the wonder wheel of Coney
I
Island.
wish I was at Coney Island right
Wish
now.
I was there. Me too. Me too. Thank you, Harvey.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Well, again, what a reading today. We have Kim, I know, right? Like, oh my gosh, we are traveling everywhere. We are through the cosmos. It's astounding. I'm so heartwarmed to be able to welcome our dear friend back from your astounding adventures. Our dear Carolyne Wright, please, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sandy. And thank you so much, complete worldwide poetry community here in Cultivating Voices. It's amazing to be here. Well, yes, I'm just back from Salvador, Bahia, Brazil. And so I am faced with all kinds of crazy choices, what to read. So I just went through some of the newer poems that I've written having to do with Bahia, with Brazil. And this one is called Choices, or in Portuguese, Encontros Binários, which is not a translation. It's just binary encounters. So I'll just read it and I think you'll get the imagery. Cut up the mango or sit on the edge of the bed to wait for the ghost girl. Lop off the green coconut's top with the kitchen machete or rip out the stitches of the white lace blouse. Wade across the tidal stream or flag down a collective taxi to the ferry launch. Gallop a feral pony across the sand at low tide, or haggle for shrimp from fishermen who empty their nets at your feet. Drop coins in the cup of the blind boy at the church door, or step through the gate of the house of Oshun. Stop in the market for coffee and passion fruit, or fast till the end of Quaresma. At dusk, hurry down the dirt road past abandoned houses, or linger in the doorway to wait for the ghost girl. Wait for the ghost girl. Okay. I have to say, I was very fortunate. I was able to visit one of the houses of Oshun, who is the patron Orisha, or patron natural West African saint of the city of Salvador, the very day before I left. Exactly 2 weeks ago, I was there. And I'm going to read one more, the last poem in Masquerade, which is called The Devil and the Angel. So we have another, binary sort of choice here. And the devil speaks first. I know, you blame me, don't you? You're thinking, why is he up here on Machu Picchu anyway? But I belong wherever you are. angel. Blame? No, no, no more. Not after all meteor showers have hailed down on these ancient fitted stones. After sunspots have risen above their 11-year vortices of storm, reversed their dark polarities. Blame? Not after the quantum arcs of angels, winged photons glow around the nerve ends. No demon, love. Earth's logic doing its dumb, dim best, trying to catch up to the intelligence that turns the spheres. My white dress lifts in this solar wind. The body takes itself for its own shadow print. You belong where no time has passed in these leaps across the synapses. Lucifer, glimmer inside a thought, epiphany and pride fall, not in opposition. Radiant darkness diffused by light. I am the angel of no losses, one wing in debt divided, connected by the sun's infernal touchstone. Welcome to my world. The demons are intrigued by our hard choices. Thank you. Thank you.
Such a great poem from such a fantastic collection. That's Carolyne Wright reading from the final poem in the newest book, Masquerade. And if you've not, we were able to feature Carolyne earlier this year in our new book showcase. Always great to hear the poems for Masquerade, and of course, new work. Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We do that.
Bellissimo. Grazie. Well, next, again, I'm just tickled by everyone. I know it's Kim and I are just, we're giddy. What a pleasure to have Kelly Mary McAllister join us today. Can't wait to hear your work. Thank you. Thank you.
It is my first time here, so I'm going to read probably my favorite piece that I've written. I think one or two of you have already heard it, so I hope you don't mind hearing it again. It is called Obese, a poem in 3 parts. Part 1, Discovery. In a forgotten photo found in the closet that serves as the designated tomb of my childhood, I am wearing a dress I remember well, remarkable only for how utterly ugly I felt in it. Stretched taut across my belly, cradling the soft swell of baby fat, swaddling my middle. Its straight lines incompatible with my new roundness. The encroaching curves of a woman, curves that could not be hidden by that simple striped dress. I was a whale, I thought, a beached whale. I don't remember learning that phrase, but it echoed whale, insistently whale, in my head whale. It lived inside me as fact, which grew roots, flowered into my very own tree of knowledge, where I gorged myself on its poisoned fruit for decades, my size as my sin. And as I fed on that fruit, I did balloon like that beached whale left to bloat on an abandoned stretch of shore, rotting from the inside. But in this artifact, I saw a stranger with my face, my dress, my lies. In this photo was an average girl, not a whale, of an average size, just a girl, in an average dress, not a whale. Part 2, Blame. The snake that lived in the branches of the tree of poison fruit serenaded me as I ate, hissing songs of self-hatred in my eager ears. Songs of my gluttony, my worthlessness, my selfishness. Songs that reverberated with the power of a choir, exultant in the certainty of my inadequacy. The snake and his song broke me down, as he had broken my mother and her mother before her. as he said that he decided her value, not she, and that she could not have too much of anything, especially herself. So we learned to eat our own, taking out our softest, our softness before a predator could do it for us. Is that an act of kindness, do you think? Or simply practical, with margins for survival so thin? But where others built a callus, grew thick skin, scales that they could shed when it no longer served them, I remained stubbornly soft, sent into a world that preyed on softness, that reduced it to numbers, in pounds, in pants, in the goddamn BMI. Numbers too large, too much, which made me not enough. Part 3, acceptance. Humanity has fooled ourselves into thinking that we are greater than beasts in the wild, as if we are ruled by reason, solely by reason, impervious to songs of snakes hiss deep inside, sibilant melodies of need, of want, of fear, of scarcity. To live is to consume, and no beast has ever consumed like humanity. A teeming mass, constantly hungry, constantly reaching, constantly striving for more, 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 heedless of the consequences. Perhaps the weight that hung my head low for so long was never just my own. The weight of a species facing the consequences of overdue reparations. Since the evidence then of my overconsumption sits upon my very bones, too big to ignore, I must bear the weight of the collective self-hatred of billions, whose own overconsumption marks not themselves, only others, so they may hide from the weight of their actions. I refuse to lay the sins of man upon my shoulders simply because they are broad enough. I refuse to be a martyr, sacrificing myself for our species' shared shame. My size may be my sin, but we are all sinners, and I am only one woman, an average girl, a beast in the wild, doing her best to simply survive.
That is Kelly Mary McAllister. Thank you for such a powerful first piece to share with us. I'm very, very grateful. I'm very, very grateful for the poem. And you will also see in the chat the accolades and appreciation. What a great contribution to our reading today. And I look forward to the next time. I look forward to the next time. Well,
Hi.
Ken Burch, hello, welcome.
Hello.
Beautiful to have you with us today.
It's good to be here. And the looking outside of my window at the view, I just I'm thinking of the line from Desiderata, with all its shams, drudgeries, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world.
Mm.
It just hit me at that moment. But 2 poems I've got. This is one called Acceptance. It's me trying to comprehend or decide not to comprehend some things about my father, who was a brilliant man and a great teacher, and had mental wellness issues that made it difficult for him to live a conventional life, and eventually he couldn't. And trying to sense in his existence his inability to stay in one place, a kind of seeking for something. It will eventually be a song lyric, but I'll just read this in this way.
Wow.
What this world might ask of you, you sometimes could not quite do from day to day. It was true, truly not quite sure for you. You could not stop till past view of what was asked of you. You and life could not agree quite what you should be. Was that why you were here yet? I don't need to know the why or know the who it was then you quite were you quite sure? I cannot guess what it was. Was it clear you're great because you found no ease, no pause, though there was no known cause for your need then to roam in circles far than home where you could not stay long, longing for the search was strong. Was that why you were here? That I don't need to know. Know the why or know the who it was then you quite were you quite sure? Some days we search through the sky, watch balloons rise through the blue, parachutes descend to earth. Now they all float near to you. Though you could not quite explain quite what again from place to place placed you in ungrounded space. Space in circles not quite known with strangers, friends, alone. Alone you sought your seeking still you're circling as you will. The second one I'm going to read is just called As, and it was written initially right after the Roe v. Wade decision, and it seems like it just sort of can be more general now and trying to keep going and trying to live on for what we must do. As we speak, seeking, as we speak, seeking serene, as we speak, seeking serene, safe, as we speak, seeking serene, safe, silent, as we speak, seeking serene, safe, silent sanctuary, all is risk, and all is risk, and we, all is risk, and we must, all is risk, and we must know, all is risk, and we must know that nothing is what we, nothing is what we know, nothing is what we knew before, nothing is what we knew before this, nothing is what we knew before this time, when the moment now present smashed, when the moment now present smashed through us, when the moment now present smashed through us all, and we are alive, and we are alive still, and we are alive still, and we are alive still, and within, and we are alive still, and within us lives, and we are alive still, and within us lives fire. Thank you.
That is the undeniable Ken Burch. And I have to say that, you know, Ken was with us in the early parts of Cultivating Voices live poetry, had a bit of a hiatus, and I've always marveled at that unique way that you run your lines. I love hearing the music of your poems. Thank you so much, Ken.
Thank you. Thanks to everyone.
Well, we are approaching the final of our original list, and I do expect that we will get to some on the open mic. So without further ado, let me welcome our dear friend. I'm grateful for his voice, of course, Matt Mooney. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Sandy. Good to see you and to be here with you all. And thanks for having me on. Right, a few poems, a few short poems. And the first one is a poem called Together. Long distance call down under. Although we may be out of sight, I have a feeling you were curled up, gone quiet inside yourself tonight. You were not one to give in easy, to lose hope or even to complain. But yet your voice sounds serious, and the tone is somewhat muted. Your joie de vivre is just not there. It's all being locked up out of sight. What words of mine now would do for the hugs I want to give to you? But soon again I plan to travel there, to book a long-haul flight and fly, and together we'll bridge the gap that's between us now, you and I. And the second poem is called That was about my daughter, and this concerns my beloved wife, and it's called Morning Kiss. I am the herald of the morning. It was I who kissed your brow. I saw the shadow of the night steal away to make room for me, with the waning moon on its back and carrying a bag full of dreams unfinished to be returned tonight. Fly with me now up into the sky, to Dobish with the streaks of dawn, borrowed from the sun that's rising. And finally, I have a wee poem called Somewhere for You. And all these poems are from Earth to Earth, which came out in 2015. Somewhere, an exotic bird before me, sitting on the stone wall, had feathers of fair isle. Unafraid of my nearness, a boy, after crossing over from his trip to the pond to see if there were swans. I managed to draw closer to a stranger around here, offering me her presence, about to keep me company, but she left for somewhere, just as silently as she came, and I didn't know her name. Thank you very much.
The amazing Matt Mooney, everyone. Oh, to fly with Matt Mooney, to fly with Matt Mooney and Matt Mooney's
Come
poetry.
fly with me, come fly.
Is a thing, is a thing to experience. Thank you so much, Matt. Always, always,
Thanks, Cindy.
always grateful, always grateful. Well, we move from Ireland to another locale here on Cultivating Voices, where we've had just so many poets always join us, and that's the wonderful Albuquerque and the incredible Billy Brown. Welcome, Billy.
Thank you very much, Andy. Welcome to everyone else. I've really appreciated all the poetry. I thought I'd share briefly a couple of things that are really inspiring me lately. This is a book called Humans. It's a book of photographs of human beings from all over the world, with a little bit of text accompanying each photograph, based on whatever conversation the photographer had with those people. The first photograph I want to show is one of this little boy. Can you see it okay? So it's a little boy in a lion costume. And the words that accompanied that photograph are, there's nothing hard about being four. There's nothing hard about being four. And that has kicked me off into a poem. I'm not going to read all of it. A poem about being four, being 14, being 24, 34, 44, 54, 64, and a few years ago, 74. But I'd like to read just a little part about there's nothing hard about being four. I get to wear my lion costume with black whisker makeup, with a blue cape, a bright red plastic Darth Vader mask, ride my bike in the big park with fallen leaves from big trees covering the ground. And as I said, I then go on to read about each of my decades. The next photograph I want to show you is this one. It's a little boy sitting on a step in a large city with his grandpa. And I'm just going to read the text from the book for this photo. I haven't written a poem about it yet, but it's the little boy's voice. We're eating cookies before lunch because Grandpa doesn't have any rules. I love that. I'd like to think I don't have any rules with my granddaughters. Then the other thing that is inspiring me lately, as it has for many years, is music. And just this morning, I attended Sunday Chatter, which is a local weekly music and poetry venue. And a couple of weeks ago, I heard a couple of pieces, which I'll read my poetic reactions to. The first one was a piece by Philip Glass called Mishima. 1. Flowing water, drifting clouds, smell of mown hay, tears of grief. She is gone. She never knew her poet father, the baker, book publisher. That's for my daughter who died 26 years ago. The second part is entitled November 25, Ishigawa. And just one line, music saddens this day. And the third part of the piece of music is called 1934, Grandmother and Kamitake. 9-beat line drives home feelings of hopelessness, repetition calms, comforts, possibilitizes life over and over. An experiment repeats, fails, repeats, fails, repeats, until some semblance of success. And my last piece is after another musical work of that same day that I heard a couple of weeks ago. And it's called The Evergreen by Carolyne Shaw. It's in 4 parts. 1, moss, shrubbing greenly, springing softly to life like a cathedral. 2, stem, bursting into air, exploding leaves, wildly rigging sonata, outgassing oxygen, consuming carbon dioxide, cooling planet Earth, flowering fragrantly, attracting pollinators, drinking intoxication, spreading wildly products of reproduction. 3 is water, freshly dripping into puddle, overflowing onto floor, splashing miraculous note, gushing outdoor, cascading down, stepping into street, rivering gutter, emptying into river, roaring down precipice, surging to salty sea. And the last, number 4, is root, darkly sucking water into tree trunk, up into leaves, a ton each day, evaporating into summer air, filling clouds, heavy blackness raining onto forest floor, moistening moss, cycling greenness. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Billy Brown. What a words coming to my mind is what a fugue of a reading, a fugue. A fugue. Beautiful. Thank you so much. And you can see and experience the poets of Albuquerque and other surroundings. It's a worldwide reading as well. Look for Fixed and Free Poetry, Billy Brown. Thank you. Well, we go to our final reader of the the set readers before we go to the waiting list, but I think we're going to get our waiting list folks in. And I'm so grateful to Cathal, because Cathal used to always send me poems about the Titanic. You are such a dear. I thank you so much. And I always look forward to hearing you read.
Thank you very much, Sandy, and Kim and Dawn, and everybody so far, and after me for reading. Another beautiful evening. Thank you, everybody, for sharing your readings. It's been a delight to sit and listen to it. Two very short poems for you. First one's in Gaelic, and I'll translate it, and then the second one's a short poem based called The Scribe. So the first one, here we go. McAllister na Gaeilge, Harna slave Julia Dagane, is Fumud na Gay, Lan la ni of Nav, me and Kua, Nav Sosta, on Glan Farnock na Gaeilge, Ilan in a year, and wound in the clocker, but Lacko is last cheat and cray at all shield. All in the slave Liha Dorcas, Awesome na Farnia, August Berter, Kjol, and Awesome Kunis on Dawn. And what the English of it is: the howling of the wind. Over the grey mountains it comes. It is a lonely sound full of longing, unsatisfied. The howling of the wind. There is nothing behind it but the permanence of the stones, buried within the clay they are. The grey mountains drink darkness out of the rain, and music is born from the silence of the world. And the second poem is called Scribe. The epigraph with it is based on a poem translated by Seamus Heaney. That poem was called The Scribe or Crub on Scribe, which means my hand is cramped from pen work. And it was obviously a poem written about the work of the scribe at that time, and how it took so much energy out of the scribes to write what they did. They often got cramped hands and necks from writing what they did, and coloring the different manuscripts. So this one's called The Scribe, and as I say, it's after a skim of crub and scribing, and my hand is cramped on penwork, 11th century manuscript Gaelic poem ascribed to Columkill from the 6th century, and translated by the great Seamus Heaney, Knockmorn, God rest him. The Scribe. The glistening ink from its inkwell, beetle black upon the quill's point, is soaked up by the vellum page. The cramped hand, quill work weary, carefully follows the measure of this hunter's eye, tracking ink dark lines upon the parched page, raising Gnossos from its covert. In the candle's strawed lemon light, his quill journeys slowly back and forth between the inkwell and the vellum, dipping, rising, falling to quill scrape, rising to dip again. Sinead, that's it. Back to you, Sandra, and back to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The incredible cadences of Cathal Mac Threinphir's poetry. Thank you for sharing also in the Gaelic with us.
Thank you. I'm glad to recognize the beat in the poem. Not too many people do it. Thank you. Thank you, Alexandra.
I love it when you do it. I'm so appreciative. All right, my friends, let's go to the waiting list. Let's get these folks in. We've got 6 readers, 1 poem a piece, and it'll be a joy to take us to the, no later than the half hour. And I'll be very grateful to hear first from Charlotte Hart.
Thank you very much. The poems and the poets have been wonderful. Thank you very much for including me. This poem comes from my new book. It's called Desert Flow, and it's in collaboration with Mexican abstract digital artist Adrian Caldara. And we don't know each other. We just send each other our work. He sends me art and I send him a poem. Here's my poem for you. bride of the seventh day. We must begin 18 minutes before the first star visits the moon. My dear, my soul, my heart within, we touch soon with inherited kindness, beginning at dusk. You are my promise, my blessing. The rough scrape of a match, the end of strife and all work bursts into the fire of our desire. The elemental heart is beating. Life, 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 life. Give me life, life, life in the rhythm of eternal laws. Blessed again in the wine of sun-filled garnet grapes gathered for our union at this soft moment after sunset. Beckoning aroma and taste, warm bread. You rise, my friend. We end discouraged days. Our eyes meet and see an intimate feast. Your mouth, your kisses, the music of names, flames of intimacy unleashed, this separated day, knowing your tenderness profound. You enter my universe, gently we move together. We are a united soul. Life is surging through us. We are untamed, free. The tension of all bondage bursts and overflows in us at once, a sensual mercy and ultimate pleasure. And we laugh. We hold each other with uncontrolled laughter and roll from side to side in our embrace. My love, you fill all with all right, all good, all pleasure, all night. We escape the world, still in this world, away from time and space in this sacred place. United in breath, our spirits soar, intimate healing harmony, profound details of delight. Breathless, the palm frond is barely stirring. Painful pleasure, you make me a fountain, fleshy psalm let go and cotton calm exhale. My treasure, my heart, we return to our bodies, spirits enlaced, knowing the language of soaring birds, tender loving ardor, euphoric sacred joy, macadamia flower perfume. All the moments of our lives collected in this instant on both waters, and they shimmer above and below. We are entwined, conceived, peace in this day.
What a beautiful collaboration. It does shimmer, just like the way the poem shimmers. Thank you, Charlotte.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm mesmerized by the work today, everyone. It's like I get so engrossed that I can't even write in the chat now. I'm just so, oh. Well, we move next to our dear friend, Martina McGowan. So glad to have you be able to hear a poem from you today, my friend.
Thank you, Sandy. A short poem. It's a sonnet, and it will be in the new book. 70, a sonnet. We enter the final quarter of life, a great mixture of beginnings and endings, flashbacks about tenderness, love, and strife, births, teenage angst, funerals, and weddings, recounting the many failures and glories, old dramas and traumas nipping at our heels, standing as heroes of our own stories now, tasting simplicity, sans analyses. Grace and mercy received and bestowed, bodies slowed as strength and time demand, taking pride in most of the seeds we've sowed, ready to share knowledge, offer a hand. To now wallow in fear and loss would be tragic. A new journey starts. Trust in its magic. Thank you.
I trust in the magic of the poetry of Martina McGowan. And it's amazing to think that we've all been together long enough that we're now getting on to our next books. I look forward to the next collection. Thank you for the sonnet. Sonnets are near and dear to my heart. I love them. So thank you. All right. We go next to Ron Bremner. Ron, great to have you with us today. Nice to see you. And just double checking. I think Ron may have dropped off the call, so let's.
Yeah, Ron's not here. Let's go on to the
We'll
next
move it.
person.
Yeah, we'll go on. Thank you, thank you. Well, our dear
Lesley Traynor.
our dear Lesley Traynor, indeed. Welcome, Lesley. Glad we can hear a poem from you today, my friend.
Thank you. This is called Hot Stones. We sit on hot stones, abandoned midstream, like dragonflies in their daily dance, eager to capture transient summer heat. We dare each other to stay, dresses bunched up in knickers, grooves burn into thighs, like slaps for talking out of turn. We endure as we endured, screw eyes up against white light. High above, boys perch on branches as thin as tawny legs, munch crab apples that cause stomachs to cramp, display bravado. To us, sitting below midstream, splayed toes, dredging water for minnows, arms braced behind, faces sunflowers trailing the sun, mapping summer. Thank you.
I love that work of mapping summer. I love that work of mapping summer. Thank you, Lesley Traynor. Oh, I'm just so full of the poetry today. Our last two readers, I can't even believe we're going to end the reading today. It's been incredible. So very happy on a day when I get to hear Amy Berry.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Sandy. Hi, everyone. Good to be here. I'm going to read a poem 100 times to appear in my next book. 100 times. Between the sky and the horizon, I saw my bed still unmade from the hurried morning of my death. Distracted by the wonders of sheep-bits, lamb's ear, sneeze wits, bird song to my ears was like a taunt. Pinned to the ground, my heart pushed against my ribs. A man's fingers digging into me, day dark with his eclipse. The sound of my own voice echoed 100 times around me, and on the beach I lay, the sand scorched black. Layers of crushed shells spread under my skin. I left my 12-year-old body in a place calm as a robin singing in a field. Thank you.
That's Amy Berry, everyone, and fantastic news of your new upcoming book. And of course, we look forward to hearing from all the new collections as they come out in our new book showcases. Well, we are to our final reader for today. What a reading it's been from everyone around the world. Thank you so much for joining us. And now I'm so glad to be able to hear our last poem for the day from Rose Ana.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. I've been saving this poem for this particular session. This is brand new for me. This is part of my collection called Cosmos in the Closet, and this is called Uranus Unbound. You probably didn't see her because she's invisible. You see, she's a cleaner, one of the unseen millions we depend on, a service minion. We treat as the gutter through behaviours we show and the words we utter. The moment she makes eye contact, we pull down the shutter. She was supposed to clock off an hour ago, but she needs the money, so on she goes. 2 full bin bags in her left hand, toilet brush in back trouser pocket, a single protective glove on the other, gripping loosely a bottle of something that used to be cleaning product a millennia ago. She gets another jibe. She's heard them all. She's irregularly shaped with a slight tilt in her gait, for she's Uranus, and for 10 hours straight between 8 and 6, she is bound. Over time, the smile left her, happy to find a job, anything really, she didn't mind. Toilet cleaner, the hurled abuse reminds her she's still in the world and not a projection. A break from rejection, but never affection, never a thank you, I couldn't do what you do. The truth is you could, you should just pick up your toilet tissue. The problem is you don't, you won't, you'll leave it there for her to pick up your waste whilst you head off in haste to the next coffee shop to fill up again on that overpriced, overmarketed caffeine taste, generating new waste for the invisible people like her, whilst she kneels and scrubs and can only taste the tinge of chemicals bleaching her hair as she scrubs the cubicles of your personal distaste under her supervisor's judging glare. You missed a bit there. She never misses a bit, but power exists everywhere. With a gentle sigh, she lifts the lid on the waste product bin and dumps one by one the bin bags in, and they're heavy even for her, but at least the floor is clean, the toilet bowls, walls too, and she'll have to clean them again in an hour or two. She pulls the cheap elastic band from her hair. The hair falls around her shoulders, it's seen glossier days. Chemicals have their terrible ways, and at least this job pays. 0 hour. She's no power, only gravity, and gravity is a weak force here, worn down through constant derision, a class division. She gently blows a falling lock back into place, and she catches a small static electric shock. You still got it, girl, she whispers, waving to her Uranus sisters, heading off for the mop. Someone has thrown up their meal from the kebab shop down the block. 8 more hours of this before she can clock, head home to a pristine clean me machine, her tiny flat, a hungry cat, a welcome mat, the only welcome she will get. What about that? And a very, very long shower, followed by a bath, contemplating life and the imbalance of power, to gentle music deep in reflection, and she thinks, not tonight, I'll give tomorrow another chance. And then she heads into the closet, and she emerges transformed, electric blue, for she is found, Uranus unbound, and the night is hers. Her gravity is strong, a singer at the club, a world premiere every night, her name up in lights, the spotlight, blues and jazz. She gives everything she has, and she is adored. Wolf whistle and catcall, she gets them all. She rises, never falls. Her beautiful sound fills the halls until 5 a.m. and the drinks are in, never paid once for a shot, and tipped such tips and phone numbers fill her pot. Everyone dreams a little of what she's got. Because she's Uranus unbound. She is planetary, transfixed. They stare, compelled by her energy, her gravity, a different glare, a glare of want, of desire, a glare of hope. She transfixes them all in just a few hours, reaching the low tones, drawing the crowds, gravity capturing in her 13 rings in a way that only she can, the low, deep voice of when she was once called a man. For she is Uranus, and she is unbound, a comet, a blazing trail, a star shining brightly, a planet, an empress of the sky, and she is cool as ice, an ice giant, electric magnetosphere, orbited by moons of love and once surrounded by rings of desire, impenetrable. She wears it with pride, and here she never hides, and she gently pulls off a velvet glove to oohs and ahs and that tingly feeling inside, because she is Uranus, and she is the mother of goddamn time itself, and time will wait on her tonight as they are caught in her unbound light, transfixed by her sight, the stars navigating her gravity with sheer delight as she rises tall and takes flight, goddess of the goddamn night. And she leaves the bathroom of the club pristine, for she is Uranus, and between midnight and 5 every night, Uranus Unbound is Queen. Thank you very much.
Woo!
Thank you for bringing Uranus to our stage. Everyone, what a reading of celestial, planetary, transcendent connection across so many time zones, across continents today. We have folks from literally like so many different continents, not just countries. It's like amazing. I'm so grateful for everyone who has read and who has also listened and shared so beautifully in the chat. The chat also is such, the chat itself is this robust litany of our reading today, really unlike any I've seen for a while. So I'm so grateful, and to remind everyone of who we heard today.
We unmute here, Sandy. Would that be
yes,
okay?
yes, we will unmute and cheer before I say the names of everyone who's read. Let's do a little appreciation for
Woo!
Bravo! Bravo, bravo, bravo.
Thank you, thank you.
A gorgeous
Incredible.
afternoon.
Thank you for the great
Beautiful.
poet.
Well, everyone, we
Thank
heard
you.
today at the top of
Nice
the
to
hour.
listen.
At the top of the hour, we heard from Alexandra Psarapoulou, Zomkhonto, Giulio Magrini, Sylvia Clare, Phynne-Belle, Harvey Soss, Carolyne Wright, Kelly Mary McAllister, Ken Burch, Matt Mooney, Billy Brown, Cathal Mac Threinfhir, and Charlotte Hart, Martina McGowan, Lesley Traynor, Amy Berry, and Rose Ana. What an incredible wild card reading. I almost got up in the middle of the reading to get my deck of cards out and just fan them in front of you all, but I'll have to do that the next time we're together on the wild card open mic. I've got many decks of cards of all kinds of stripes and looks to them. So I should really start sharing them with you all when we do the wild card open mic. Well, everyone, we're gonna take a little 2-week break and gather up our strength for fall and come back with a slate to round out the final quarter of 2022. So come on back in 2 weeks when we'll get to hear more poetry from all of you remarkable folks. I hope you have a good couple weeks. Feel free to post on our page. And Kim, do you have anything you'd like
I want to say, everyone, that
Yeah.
in honor of Labor Day weekend here in the US, the first program in September is a poet's focus on labor. So if you want to take that as a prompt and do some work on a new poem, the theme of labor for the first Sunday in September.
And certainly we hope to the past 2 years, we have featured this amazing book, Raising Lily Ledbetter, edited by our own here, Carolyne Wright. And I hope that some of the poets will join us and read from, we didn't want to put the onus on you while you were in Brazil, so to get that together. So we are happy to feature, and we look forward to that poet's focus on the topic of labor in the first weekend of September. Well, I have a lunch date, so I'm gonna sign off, everybody. It's been quite a day, and I'm glad we got to hear from all of you remarkable folks. And thank you, of course, to the audience for your attentive, beautiful listening. We'll see you in 2 weeks. And as I always sign out when we depart, please take very good care of your beloveds. Be safe out there and keep writing those miraculous anthems of poems. I'm your host, Sandy Yannone, for Cultivating Voices Live Poetry, and see you in September.
Night, Sandy.